Hi, last night I went to the cinema and saw Mickey 17, the new film from Oscar winner Bong Joon-ho. Having had great success with his previous film Parasite, this is a film where he's been given a lot of resources. Warner Brothers have given him a $115 million budget. I've got an array of stars, and it's based on a novel with a fun science fiction premise. Mickey Barnes is escaping the Earth about 50 years in the future, having incurred a number of dangerous debts, and signs up to be an expendable on a spaceship bound for a colony planet called Niflheim. Being an expendable means that he'll be given the most dangerous tasks and basically be a lab rat, but also that his memory will be stored and that a new version of him can be physically 3D printed, effectively generating a new clone, but with all the memories and thoughts and concepts of the original. So he is able to repeatedly experience death and then wake up the next day and feel fine. Uh, Over the course of his journey, he falls in love with one of the security officers on board ship and they have a relationship. And then when once they reach the planet, a mishap means that Mickey 17 is given up for dead. And when he finally gets back to the spaceship, he finds that Mickey 18 is already in his own bed. So the two Mickeys have to figure out what to do next, whilst the members of the spaceship have a weird cult worshipping their leader, played by Mark Ruffalo. His wife is played by Toni Collette. And the whole film feels very Terry Gilliam inspired. It really does feel like a modern version of Brazil, with that almost quasi steampunk sci-fi and big broad performances. Ruffalo and Collette wearing very over the top prosthetic white teeth. The kind of dream woman figure, it really does feel a lot like Brazil. But unlike Brazil, this is a more commercial story. So we have a more traditional progression through an action adventure type plot, which I won't go into too much detail for. And the result is a surprisingly lightweight and enjoyable movie. I've been a bit mixed on Bong's films in the past. Host and Snowpiercer, I felt weren't quite satisfactory. I thought Parasite was, although quite creative in a lot of ways, ultimately wasn't saying anything particularly groundbreaking or original. But this is looking to be a more commercial story, a more mainstream story. And as a result, I think it works very well. It's trying to do some satire and some more complex ideas within the framework of a sci fi adventure. And on that count, I think it works extremely well. I think Ruffalo's performance is very much modelled on Donald Trump, with his background being effectively that of Elon Musk, and he's a absolutely grotesque monster, an idiot worshipped by other idiots. Um, but the detail of the environment, the way everything's thought through to figure out how this kind of situation would work, I think, is very impressive. It has a strong and witty script. I think it's impressive given that Bong's English is, as far as I can gather, not great, but it feels very natural, flowing dialogue. Pattinson in his dual role, or even playing multiple versions of the same character, they're only two at a time at most, I thought was excellent. The supporting cast is generally very strong. Naomi Ackie as the as his partner, I thought was very more grounded and believable version of that character, not kind of the fantasy woman figure, but more of a plausible uh, female partner. And I actually found it to be very enjoyable and entertaining. It was a surprisingly strong choice, I think, for a Friday night movie. I enjoyed it a great deal, and I'm surprised and a little saddened that it's not been as big a hit as they had expected for a $115 million sci-fi adventure. It really ought to have done better. People are presumably far more interested in rambling and beer gardens at this time of year.